Hey, what's happening YouTube? Darkworm21 here, welcoming you back to my Indianapolis World War Memorial Museum Tour series. In today's installment, we are going to be going over World War II, the conflict that turned America into what it is today. We start off with the infamous bronze bust of the legendary Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, along with the Nazi flag. Fun fact, due to Hitler's aggressive foreign policy, this was the catalyst of World War II when he invaded Poland in September of '39. Audio clips, mostly just recapping Pearl Harbor, various weapons used by the Japanese during the war. Pause the video if you want to learn more. I'm going in a hurry. Lieutenant Graham Edward Martin, one of the first black naval officers. More. The bombing of Pearl Harbor is what brought us into World War II back in '41. Various excerpts from soldiers, more memorabilia, more excerpts, some medals, memorabilia to Il Duce, Benito Mussolini himself. Over here, where I'm at right now, you can see more Hitler, Mussolini, brief biographies on them, pictures of everybody, Franco, the Spanish dictator during World War II, Admiral Horthy, the Hungarian dictator, Nazi uniform, more excerpts, flag, weapons, looks like a tea set. Fun fact, when the US declared war on Germany, that's when Hitler knew the war was over. He said it himself. He said he knew when the United States entered the war, it was over. There was more weapons used by the Nazis. More excerpts from everything. Documents, excerpts, certificates, medals, a picture of Victor Tyron, all this stuff, ladies' uniforms, More excerpts and picture. The music you're hearing I do not own. It belongs to, if I remember the instrumental right, it's George M. Cohan. It's part of the reason why I'm trying to talk as much as I can so I don't get copyright. Because copyright does not exist on this channel at all. We are fast approaching my favorite historical era, Cold War. These are more World War II excerpts and pictures. No timeout for him. We will win the war if you do your part. War bonds. Newspaper articles signifying the end of the war. Well, the war in Europe, anyway. Over here is signifying the end of the war in Japan. More excerpts. More certificates. Profile on William Girder. Greta, however. His jacket. More stuff. Ernie Pyle. The most famous women's icon, Rosie the Riveter herself. And here is a brief profile on the actual woman herself, Miss Rose Monroe. All right. Okay, apparently I'm recording more. So, now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to my favorite historical era, the Cold War, lasting from 1946 to 1991. Over here, you see the blue is all the U.S. and our NATO allies. Green is the non-aligned movement. Red is the Soviets. A woman's uniform, 2 men's, 1 ceremonial, the other for flying. Profile on the birth of the Air Force. Pause the video if you want to read more. The Korean War. The war that inspired the hit show MASH. Yeah, that's right, folks. You heard it from me. Over here, you see a typical barracks during the 1940s and 50s. Up and at 'em, lazy bones! Usually the lights turn on, but I guess not today. There we go. Now you can get a better view of what a soldier's barracks would look like during the latter half of World War II into the 50s. And you can see my face a little better, so yay. The Incheon March, or Assault, MacArthur strikes back. The retaliatory strike. Pause the video again if you want to read that, but let's move on. Picture that was painted or printed in 1951. Profile on Lieutenant Colonel Don C. Faith Jr. Again, pause the video if you want to read it. Profile on the chosen few that were basically soldiers sitting out here in the winter, medics, brief explanation of desegregation for the armed forces. Again, pause the video if you want to read it. More pictures. A profile on John H. Flack, who was an artist and won the Purple Heart. That's probably him. The Canine Corps. Uniforms over here for the men. Weapons of the Korean War over here. Mine detector. Women's uniforms. An actual mortar, whatever. It does rotate. That's my usual recording partner is not here. That's why I'm recording this by myself. Various photos about a year in Korea from July 1950 to July 51. I'll just briefly flip through here. Here we have a Jeep. War Memorial, Veterans Database for Korea. Hospital scene. You can smell the bloodshed. I'm just joking. Anyhow, let's go on upstairs, shall we? This is probably where I'll be ending the video, Vietnam. Mannequins of soldiers in the war. A profile on the tunnel rats. There's one of them right there. North Korean tent.
I ran the restaurant and they were shook that the president putting another line on Roger Donald. He just stands so tall.